Murder that dude, bro.
I finish you off and end your career.
Oh, I'm so excited. God dang it. Hello everybody, my name is Cameron Brown and a warm welcome to the How to Cameron channel. And today I'm going to be talking about the KSI versus Logan Paul rematch. This is something that I'm very interested in. Get your seatbelts on, guys. New formation of video being made today. This video is going to be made differently because my channel is dead, so I need to change my content. On a real note, I've given up, okay? I'm making videos that I want to make. So if you enjoy this video, please tell me in the comments. Give me that motivation. Also, smash like on this video if you enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new today. So firstly, I just wanted to quickly talk about what happened in the first match between KSI and Logan Paul. KSI and Logan Paul had a fight last year on August 25th. But pretty much what happened during the fight is Logan Paul dominated the first two rounds. He got tired and then KSI just started picking him apart and wildly throwing shots at Logan, and Logan just looked completely tired and obliterated. By the end of the last round, Logan Paul literally looked like he was about to die. This was a 6th round fight, by the way, and they had actually trained for it. So the fact that Logan Paul was that exhausted was very bad. Pretty much, both KSI and Logan Paul thought that they won. Logan Paul said that he won because he was a better boxer and he randomly got tired, when in actuality the reason why he got tired was not because of anything random. It was just because he was stupidly crazy with his power output in the first two rounds. The reason why Logan Paul won the first two rounds, I believe, is just because he overutilized his power. He rushed his shots, and that's why he beat KSI. But the second that he got tired, because obviously there is an issue with throwing as many shots as you possibly can, he just was an awful boxer, effectively. I call him an awful boxer. He isn't really an awful boxer. Even in the first fight, yes, I do believe he lost, but I can see why he thought he won. But he did show good boxing skills. He had a great jab and he was a great fighter, to be honest. He didn't get knocked down or anything. He did sit down during the fight though. That's a little bit interesting in my opinion. But pretty much KSI, I believe, was a worse boxer but a way better fighter. And I do genuinely believe that they just weren't that well trained. And that's why this fight is going to be completely different. I believe if you scored the fight round by round, I think it was a draw. I think a draw was very fair. I can see why people would lean it towards KSI, because if it progressed for any more rounds, Logan Paul would have got dropped, especially with no headgear, which they are not wearing for the rematch, which is fantastic. I'm glad that they're not. I can't see Logan Paul winning the first fight at all. There's no way he won 4 rounds. Absolutely no way. KSI and Logan Paul both released videos in which they announced the rematch. Logan Paul's did a lot worse in terms of views, but views aren't everything on YouTube. I'm a dead YouTuber. That's what all dead YouTubers say, okay? Not literally dead, I'm here, haha, breathing. So fun, I love living. But my channel is actually dead and stagnant. Smash like, please, I need your like, thank you. In Logan Paul's video, he mentioned a couple things like KSI, and there was a lot of things that Logan Paul said that were just dumb. Like Logan Paul said that he's stronger than KSI. I flat out don't believe that. Have you seen KSI? He's huge. He just looks way bigger than Logan.
And end your career.
The main thing though that was interesting is Logan Paul kept laying digs at KSI's music career. He kept calling KSI's music career dead.
While I was training hard this year, you were on tour making SoundCloud music. If your songs were half as good as your music videos, maybe you'd sell out 50-person venues. It's true. In the past year, both Maverick and Kong have died. Just like your music career.
And he also, on top of that, mentioned how Logan Paul's been training for the fight whilst KSI's just been making music. The thing is that's interesting to me is, Logan, you're making podcast videos, which are less successful than KSI's music. Loads more people are talking about KSI's music in comparison to your podcast, Logan. So when he calls KSI's music career dead, it seems a bit ridiculous, because in my opinion, I don't think there's anything wrong with branching out and trying something new. And I believe KSI's music's pretty good. Yes, I'm wearing a Sidemen hoodie and you may think I'm incredibly biased, but I'm being honest here. I like KSI's music. I don't love it, it's not my favourite type of music, but he definitely has a lot of potential and he's improved massively. On top of that, I don't get why Logan Paul is criticising KSI for not selling out massive venues, or 50-person venues as he proclaims they are, when Logan Paul himself has issues with selling out tickets. And if you actually watch some of KSI's concerts, just on YouTube videos, if you watch them through YouTube videos, you'll actually realise that they seem pretty full. KSI didn't seem to have an issue with selling out his concerts. But then if you look at the Challenger Games, there was no one there. Logan Paul is announcing the biggest sporting event of the year for YouTubers and for the internet, or whatever he said, and there literally was 150 people there. KSI literally sold more tickets to his London concert than that, and he didn't make a video directly about it. So I think that's a bit ridiculous in my opinion. And on top of that, it was literally just KSI and Randolph. There wasn't any other famous YouTubers there. With the Challenger Games, there were loads of other famous YouTubers, lots of potential to sell more tickets. On top of that, I think the tickets for KSI's concerts were more expensive on top of that. So I wanted to mention what I think about the rematch, what I think is going to happen. Number one, I think the head guards, the lack of head guards, is going to make a massive change to the whole show completely. When you wear headgear in boxing, you don't really get knocked out. You get knocked down, and when you get knocked down, what normally happens is you fall off balance. Before you get knocked out, i.e. put in a concussion, fantastic, in boxing, before that you normally lose your balance. And that's why a lot of boxers, they'll be knocked down, they get up and then they get knocked out. They don't normally just get knocked out, flat out, cold, straight away. So the point of wearing a head guard is, instead of you getting knocked down when you're literally being knocked out, you get knocked down when you lose your balance, which means you're pretty much on the road to being knocked out. And because of that, it's just a lot safer wearing headgear. The thing is though with headgear is I think it's very important to consider the audience. Logan Paul and KSI have a young fan base, and I believe it's good that they're branching out to making content and being entertaining to older age groups, because this boxing match, I'm 18, this boxing match is flipping entertaining as hell for me. Way more entertaining than if KSI was to go on a Disney show or Logan Paul was to do the same. And I do respect both of them for trying to grow up with their audience. The thing you've got to be careful of, though, is still the fan base, because you will have a lot of kids that are still fans of KSI and Logan Paul. This is more relevant to Logan Paul, I believe, but Logan Paul's audience is so varied in age. There are literally fans of Logan Paul who are like 8 years old, and they literally see Logan Paul as a hero. Imagine them watching Logan Paul get dropped. Flat out. Not even like being knocked over or knocked down. Flat out being knocked out cold. Like just imagine how damaging that would be to them. And I think that's where this all becomes quite shady, because having a boxing match is fantastic, especially with no headgear. It's very exciting and it's professional boxing. And both of these guys clearly have a passion for boxing, and that's something that I massively respect. But I don't think the audience that they have is that suited to enjoy that type of content. So because of that, I do believe that streaming it not on YouTube and streaming it on a boxing app, a fighting app, I think that's a really good idea, and I'm glad that they've done that instead of streaming it on YouTube, because I feel like that will make it safer, because kids won't be able to just watch, one of their idols get knocked down and knocked out live, because I do believe there'll be a knockout, because obviously an app like DAZN, I don't know specifically what it's called, I think it's called DAZN, it's very adult in comparison to say YouTube, which is a very child-friendly platform. So I feel like that diversification is important. Streaming it on DAZN rather than YouTube, I think is good, because it will prevent kids from being able to watch quite a traumatic event it could be to them. Who do I think is going to win? Well, honestly, I really want KSI to win, but if Logan Paul is accurate with what he's saying, i.e. he's been training for the past year and KSI's only been focusing on music, I don't see much hope in KSI winning. Because the thing is Logan Paul, he's just much bigger. So when you're a much bigger fighter in terms of stature, you have physical advantages over KSI. Advantages that aren't attainable in any possible way. Like, for example, he naturally will have longer arms. He'll have a bigger back. These are things that you can't really change that easily. You just get them from being taller, for example. Logan Paul will have bigger organs, things like that. And just out of that respect, I do believe that KSI does need to put more work in than Logan just for it to be an even fight. And if Logan Paul is here saying that he's been training vigorously for the past year, and KSI's just been focusing on music, I don't see KSI to have done enough training to actually outcompete Logan. But I don't believe that's true, because the things with KSI is KSI went through a stage of bulk and everyone made fun of him for being fat. But I genuinely understood what he was doing. A lot of boxers do this. They still train, they just gain weight, because you can gain muscle by eating healthily, but it's just really slow and it's a bit hard for your body to deal with. It's easier just to gain weight, so to gain fat with muscle, it's easier to do that and then lose the fat than just try and focus on gaining muscle. Like, it's quite difficult to just gain muscle, so that's why people dirty bulk or whatever you want to call it. But I do believe KSI's been training for this fight still, even whilst doing music. For example, he's slowed down his uploads massively, and on top of that, he's lost the weight really goddamn quick. There was a video, a Sidemen video, he weighed himself live and he was like 100 kilograms. And then his trainer mentions how KSI is now 93 kilograms. He's dropped like 7 kg in 2 months without losing any muscle. He clearly must have a very fast metabolism. And to get a fast metabolism, you need to be in shape. So the fact that he's in shape proves that he has been training. Because if you don't train for a year, believe it or not, you're not going to be still in shape, are you? Especially for boxing. And on top of that, I do believe it's the type of training that matters. I think KSI has a better team, honestly, than Logan Paul. I don't like Logan Paul's trainer. And just out of that respect, I believe that KSI's training is better. So maybe even if KSI has actually been doing less training, maybe the better training quality, it may compensate for the lost amount of training hours in comparison to Logan. And on top of that, KSI has more experience. And I do genuinely believe that KSI is just a different type of fighter than Logan. I think Logan's trying hard to be a conventional boxer, and that's very easy for him to be because he has the technical advantages over KSI. And I feel like KSI is more focusing on knockout power, and that's good because he is smaller than Logan. If you're a smaller fighter, you have to be more nifty with your boxing ability and boxing technique to ensure that the physical advantages that your opponent has aren't valid. For example, reach. Reach is great, but if the person you're fighting against is always right next to you, reach is pointless. It can actually act as a negative. And there's a reason why boxers like Mike Tyson don't box conventionally. They can't, because if they do, they just get outcompeted because they're smaller than the opponent. But in my opinion, I do think KSI will win this, but I'm not 100% sure because I do think Logan is crazy. I feel like he's able to relentlessly train. And on top of that, Logan Paul felt what it's like to be irrelevant. You know, I remember in late 2018, his channel was not doing very well at all after the fight. He wasn't even gaining subs. His videos were not even getting 1 million views. He's doing really well now, and I'm not saying that that's a dead channel, but he was starting to see what it's like to become irrelevant. And I feel like with Logan, he's so obsessed with not being irrelevant, being relevant, being popular. That's what his brand is about. So when he started to feel irrelevant, he started to get desperate, and he probably felt really down about that. So the second he got out of that, he was like thinking to himself, I cannot lose this fight, otherwise I will become irrelevant. Because he became irrelevant after the fight happened. Because he didn't win, he may have thought. But in conclusion, I'm really excited for this fight. I think it's going to be a real spectacle to behold, to be quite frankly honest. And I hear a lot of people criticize this boxing match, a lot of pro boxing fans. And quite frankly, I think that's the problem with boxing as a sport. A lot of the fan base are so rigid to change. Like, things change, okay? You can't just have the same fighters in the game. You've got to let newcomers come in. And yes, they have a major following. However, how should that be seen as at all a disadvantage? What, is it really bad that Logan Paul and KSI are coming into the boxing game, the pro boxing game, with millions of potential fans of the sport? No. And to be honest, I wasn't even into boxing before the first KSI versus Logan Paul fight. That got me into boxing. And after that fight, after I watched that fight, I've watched so many other fights. I'm a fan of lots of different boxers. But anyway, guys, I'm going to end this video here. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Smash like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new today. And I really did enjoy making this video because it's something that I'm quite interested in. And I feel like sometimes I fall into the hole of just trying to make content for views. And it doesn't even really work, so there's not really any point in me focusing on that. So yeah, this video will do shit, but I really did enjoy making it. And I think that's what matters at the end of the day. And I feel like people who are interested in this topic are going to find this video good. And that's what matters to me. Thanks for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys later. Bye!